How are you? I am sitting here. I came for a drive out, and when I get back, I'm gonna be looking at what I hope to be the last round of edits for Raising Free People book so that it can move on to the next step of interior layout. And had a couple meetings this morning and just really trying to settle into what a lot of us are recognizing as the multi I don't know if it's multifacetedness or the the ways that as black people we have and do and sort out how to hold extreme sadness and relentless joy at the same time. The episode this week, no, it's actually next week. The intro for next week's episode is introed by Marley, who is amazing and who is an unschooling teen and who is also my first baby. And she was talking about in the intro, or she will be talking about, as you'll hear next week, she was talking about um, how crazy it was that there was a thing for black joy, that was a thing. Like people had to like be deliberate about being happy as a result of being black, you know? Um, and I was so taken by how she processed that. Of course, for me, black joy, it's like, yeah, as a woman in her 40s, as someone who experienced isms in very particular ways, because being Jamaican, it was more so like classism and colorism in the years that I was there. And, I left when I was 10. And so then growing up in various subsets of American culture directly in the South, and then going to a college with people from multiple parts of the country, um, and then being nomadic for many years. So living in different countries for extended periods and getting aspects of culture and understanding of blackness in particular in various cultures. Um, in all of that, a common thread was absolutely that black people needed to be, and they understood um, themselves, talking about black people in cultures besides my own. Um, they understood the importance of needing to choose joy, particularly because of our skin, particularly because of the things that show up that can make it really easy for us to operate primarily from a space of resistance, right? And to see ourselves solely as warriors, and therefore see our children as needing also to fight and be warriors and push through, without the harmony of including also that we get to just be and to be happy, and that our children do not owe us their productivity, nor do we owe that to anyone. We bring it to a space when we choose it or when we see it as necessary. But what's happening instead right now is that we are painting each other and ourselves and our children with this paintbrush of, or with this idea of our validity being wrapped in our capacity to struggle and push through and resist. And the problem with that is that it leaves out the immense value and qualities of joy, of being happy, of centering the things that bring you joy, not from a space of ignoring or being neutral about or silencing the ways that the opposite of joy are showing up. But we don't have to choose one. And goddamn, if we choose one, no, it can't be the struggle. And it can't be that same thing that we choose for our children and give them and expect of them. And hearing Marley talk about the intro, being very surprised about the need for a focus on Black joy, really drives home to me the need to remind myself out loud that we got to really think about, as we unschool and deschool, whatever that means for each of us, as we do that, we got to think about the ways that our children are not in need of teaching from us. Right now, what we need to do is observe the ways that they are being, despite all of the things that are happening, and see whether tapping into that can help us look at ourselves as dynamic enough to do more than struggle, and to look at our children as dynamic enough and worthy enough to do more than prove anything to anybody. The quote that's up on my feed now from Tamika Middleton really speaks to this when it talks about our children and freedom. And if you haven't taken a look at that, please do. And let that shit work you in the middle of all of this, all of that.